Valencia in Spain, rounds 3 and 4 of the FIA World Touring Car Championship. The race that's either been the traditional season opener or closer in Europe is our second round of the series. And it's always been a happy hunting ground for the front-wheel drive cars. Its tight and twisty nature and the high temperatures usually experienced here, even in the spring, means that the front-wheel drive cars struggle to keep their tyres alive. But the BMWs have always, even with their rear-wheel drive, struggled to get the gearing correct. Well, that all ended last year when sequential gearboxes and adjustable gears were brought in for the BMWs, and they've been much more competitive since. As the cars are sitting on the grid in the bright sunshine, just 3.5 minutes of repair time left in which the teams to get the remaining cars out of the pit lane and headed around to the grid. Hello everybody, I'm Martin Haven, alongside me World Touring Car driver Harry Folkard. And Harry, this is a really busy time for the teams, not with the cars on the grid, but in the 15 minutes to refuel, put new tyres, new brakes and whatever else needs doing to the cars between the two races. Yeah, the repair time's quite an exciting part of the whole event really. There's 15 minutes to get whatever wrongs you've done in race 1 put right for race 2. And obviously that means that, obviously depending on who you've hit or what you've hit or what damage you've done, then you can actually find yourself running with a bit of a compromised car in race 2. There wasn't that much contact in race 1, so I don't think there'll be anybody out there with any such issues. But it's a bit of a frantic 15 minutes. You're right, that looks like the very last car coming out there, Fernando Monche. The rest of the pit lane looks pretty much empty. I mean, we have had some enormous dramas, haven't we? You think about Oschersleben last year as a classic example. Well, meanwhile, just between the races, one of our World Touring Car drivers, Charlie New, showing the fans here a little bit of a different driving style, bringing the safety car for the Drift World Championships here, like the safety car for the World Touring Car Championship, sponsored by TRW Safety Equipment. And if that's a safety car, then I dread to think about what they're leading around. He certainly showed it off to good effect, but you know, just occasionally, even the best can overcook these things. Yeah, and I wouldn't mind having a little go of that. It would be good fun. It looks like he's got a passenger in there as well. Definitely did. Yeah, seeing the world through the side window is all part of the drift experience. Well, hopefully there won't be too much sideways action from our cars in race 2. Temperature still nice and high here. Stefano D'Aste in the independent BMW for Vika Sport is the man who starts on the pole position from Alemaniu, Alexei Dudicalo and Franz Engstler. So 2 BMWs, a Chevrolet and a Seat in the front 2 rows of our race 2 grid. Norbert Michaelis, Rob Huff, Pepe Oriola and Tom Coronel on rows 3 and 4, and expect the BMWs from the standing start to get away quickly. Rows 5 and 6, Gabriele Tarquini and Ivan Muller, who were first and second and first in race 1. Then Thiago Monteiro and Daryl O'Young, top 12, all going through into Q2 yesterday. From 13th on down, where you placed in the first qualifying period is where you start both races. So a lot of familiarity to the grid here because everybody will be lining up in the positions in which they previously started. Toms Chilton and Boardman side by side on the grid in their Ford and turbo diesel Seat respectively, though there was a little bit of a question mark over whether Tom Boardman would make it out for race 2, but he is made of stern stuff and he is indeed on the grid as the tyres go on. And again, Harry, this is very important because there is a definite time by which the tyres must be on, blankets off, cars on the ground, pre-start procedure. And there are very strict penalties in place if the teams miscalculate on that. Yeah, definitely. That's what I fear. That's the start of race 1, is it? Yeah. Start of race 1, a rolling start as ever. Race 2 has a standing start. Looking from Gabriele Tarquini, who got a better start than poleman Ivan Muller, but Muller had the inside line into corner 1, and he took a lead. He was never to give away. Some blistering opening laps. He knew that late in the race the front-wheel drive cars would struggle for tyres. And that was the case, despite which Muller had built enough of an advantage, and the charging Tom Coronel in third could not overhaul Gabriele Tarquini. Spent 13 laps effectively trying to push the Italian around with a quicker car, and still no chink in Tarquini's armour. So that was how they finished. Muller first, Tarquini second, and Coronel in third. Because he was only second on the grid to Tarquini in Monza, poleman and race 1 winner here, Yvan Muller, has not got a perfect score for the season. He's dropped a point, which is a little bit like dropping a point in one match when you're Roger Federer winning 6 love, 6 love. So he's really on a rip. Won both races in Monza, won both races here last year, and well, there's nothing to suggest that he might not win both races here as well. And certainly he had a very comfortable advantage in race 1. He's certainly got something here this weekend that his teammates don't seem to be able to match.
Definitely, he's been on fire all weekend, and the qualifying performance really showed that. You know, he was a long way ahead of both of his teammates. I say a long way in motorsport terms anyway. Normally those 3 guys are pretty much inseparable, and you know, he did seem to find something from somewhere to give him a fairly big advantage.
He did indeed. 8.5 minutes to the green flag for clearing the grid in the final formation lap, as the drivers sit trying to remain cool in their cars.
Especially for the Chevrolets.
Well, lots of guests on the grid of teams and sponsors. It's one of the great things about the World Touring Car Championship as far as raising sponsorship is. You can, you know, your sponsors come to the race, they can stand in the garage and watch proceedings, they can meet the drivers, they can be on the grid 5 minutes before the start of the race. Try doing that at a Grand Prix with 100 guests. It just ain't happening. And you know, it's a great selling point for sponsors, the involvement and how close you can get to the action before, during and after the races. So it's definitely something that I know that the sponsors like, whether they're, you know, Chevrolet or the big names, or whether they're small companies that are supporting individual drivers. It's a great opportunity for them to get a lot more involved rather than just having the sticker on the car and watching it from the TV. Rob Huff mopping his brow. It's pretty warm down there. It's 26, 27 degrees of air temperature. Of course, they're wearing a fireproof set of underwear. They're wearing triple layer fireproof overalls, balaclava, helmet, gloves, boots and everything to keep them safe. But it doesn't allow the cool in, does it, or allow the heat to get out very much?
No, definitely not. It will be really, really hot in those cars under those helmets. And there's obviously, you don't want any holes. It's not like you can put the window down on the car, because then it makes the car completely unaerodynamic. And believe it or not, that is actually quite an important thing on these things, because they're, just by their nature, they're not in a very aerodynamic shape. So you want to try and, you know, polish it as much as you can and not have holes to let too much air in. So yeah, I'm sure all of the guys will be sweating a little bit now.
Fourth on the grid then is Franz Engstler, the Liquimoli BMW, run by his own team. And he and Norbert Mikulis battling for independent trophy honours. Alexei Dudicalo hasn't had an awful lot of luck with this car. It caught light after qualifying, after what's pretty much one of his best qualifying performances, I think, at all in the World Touring Car Championship. So the guys rebuilt it overnight. Then the suspension collapsed in race 1, and they rebuilt that during the race to get him back out, because starting third, you don't want to kibosh that by having to take the car out to Parc Ferme and get dropped to the back of the grid.
Definitely not, and he's made a big improvement as well, hasn't he, this season? Yeah. He's certainly jumped up from where he was last year, so this is a big opportunity for him.
Big chance as well for Alain Menu to be another Chevrolet winner, but somebody other than a Frenchman called Yvan Muller this season. He lies second on the grid behind Stefano D'Aste, the poleman. And if Menu's going to win a race, this would be a very good time to do it and a very good opportunity to do it. Stefano D'Aste talked to him after race 1, had a problem with the upshift on his gear. They got a sequential gear shift, which means you just pull the lever back and the electronics should dip the throttle and allow the gear to go in. A couple of times in the race it wouldn't go from second to third at all. It took 3 or 4 pulls. He said he got very confused by that, wasn't sure what was going on. Hopefully the team have changed the electronics to fix it. Cars gradually moving away from the grid. Charlie New getting a little bit of drifting going there at the back of the grid. He will be the last starter, and there'll be a BMW at the front as well. Stefano D'Aste leads us round. Yvan Muller on board there. He will start in 10th place for race 2. Pepe Oriola leading the Yokohama Trophy points. Stefano D'Aste, the man on pole, with a chance perhaps to overturn that if Oriola struggles a little to get away from the start in race 2.
Oriola's got a good lead now. I think he's 8 points ahead in the Independence Championship. So that's, as you said before, he's just playing it cool, making sure he's playing the championship game really right from the beginning.
Well, the teams have done what they can do. There are no pit stops in World Touring Car Championship racing, so now it is just down to the loose nut behind the wheel, isn't it? The driver now takes centre stage. This is all about mano a mano. Ivan Muller, the world champion, double reigning world champion, leads from teammate Rob Huff. Gabriele Tarquini now up to 3rd. Coronel up to 4th, ahead of Alain Menu, who was 3rd in points coming here. Menu on the front row. Might have a chance to win the race, might have a chance to get himself back into the championship fray. Far too early, race 4 of 24 to be counting anybody out, but you can't allow Ivan Muller to keep winning and winning and winning. He doesn't give points away.
So who do you think, who's your money on, Martin?
Ah, here we go, you're doing the John Cleland on me, aren't you?
Which loose nut?
In the end, D'Aste, I definitely got the impression he will take an independence win first and foremost. If he can stay away from Menu, if he's got a rear gunner, another BMW gets through, yes, he'd like to try and win this race, but it's not his #1 priority. His #1 priority is to preserve himself and try and win the Yokohama Trophy. For the Zengo team, they want Norbert to get up near the front. He nearly won in Monza. He was leading race 2 in Monza. And he nearly won in Hungary last year. His only World Touring Car win, still Macau 2 seasons ago. So Norbert Mikulis has got a good chance, and Franz Engstler to get through as well. This could be a big afternoon for BMW. On the other hand, could-haves and would-haves abound in motor racing, don't they?
Yeah.
I don't know who's tenser, the men in the pits or the men in the cars. I think perhaps it is the engineers, it is the mechanics, it is the team bosses, because now they are unable to help Gabor Weber with a problem. Now he's being pushed backwards from where?
0.8.
Yeah, so he's halfway around the circuit. He's at the cutoff at the down from corner 8 that goes across to corner 13. Now he's in an escape road. The safety car is with him, and the Zengo team are already down to 1 car, and that's a disaster for Gabor. Don't know what the mechanical problem is, but it's clearly not a driver incident. Now, are we going to get the start delayed? The safety car is out on the circuit, has not come back. No, we are ready to go. 13 laps of Valencia on pole. Stefano D'Aste, great start, dreadful start. Tarquini stalled it. Yellow flags flying, and he's passed by Dudicalo, his teammate, before he gets going. Somebody's on the grass, one of the BMWs. Engstler's made a good start. He's got by Menu as well. Mikulic did not. Coronel is trying to get through. Menu is 3rd. Coronel inside Mikulic for 4th. Muller's already, no, Huff's ahead of Muller. They are 5th and 6th, but D'Aste is gone, and he's got Engstler as rear gunner. If he gets into turn 2, he does. And look at the bunch behind. They're 2 by 2 all the way through there. Good start for Thiago Monteiro, had the inside line, trying to make a move on Dudicalo, but he gets passed around the outside by Captain, overtaking from race 1. Mehdi Banani and Cherki and Dudicalo. Montero in the gravel. McDowell got held up there. Oh, the Fords! That's Boardman. No, Nash and Boardman get together.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage on Tom's car. It's going to be a safety car.
The safety car is already halfway round the track. No, the safety car has come back to the pit lane. Yes, we are going to need a safety car, I think, to get rid of Tom Boardman's car. He was questioning whether or not it was even worth going back out in the diesel. I said, come on, Tom. You're like somebody had kicked your cat in Monza because you didn't have a drive. Now you've got a car. Come on, go out. He said, yeah, but we're not going to get any points, and think of the damage.
Yeah.
Now I'm really sorry I talked him into it.
It's a commentator's curse, I think, isn't it?
Now, change for second. Menu has got by Engstler, and this is very bad news indeed for D'Aste, because Engstler has not been able to hold Menu off even for 1 lap. D'Aste has got a bit of a gap, but he's now got to absolutely leather that car around to try and escape and make Menu use up his tyres. It's Nash and down the inside of Montero. Nash and Montero again. Good move by James Nash. Excellent pass on Thiago Montero.
that was a great move.
And in fact, Nash had got by McDowell a couple of corners earlier, so he's picked up 2 spots on that lap. Montero is defending. Montero's struggling. He's got the Sun Red turbo engine, not the new Orica-built Seat turbo engine. And yellow flags are out in the first sector. And off on the outside goes Isaac Tutumlu, loses 3 or 4 places. Daste led by 1.5 after lap 1, but Menu fastest in sector 2 and 3, and Huff is 6th and Muller is 7th. Wow, Daste's got a long time to hold on.
He's managed to build a little bit of a gap there, and I think we'll see Menu come back at him. But well, you never know. We'll see if he can hold it off or not.
Well, Engsler in second in the Independence Trophy ahead of Coronel and Mikulits have got Huff and Muller behind them, but I think the Chevys may struggle to pass the BMWs if they don't get it done in lap 1 or 2. And there is Weber's car being pushed away, Gabor walking away in the background, and they have towed Tom Boardman's car out of harm's way without the need for a safety car. It's the second time this weekend I've said, yeah, almost certainly safety car, and there's been no need for it. So clearly the track workers here doing a really good job under our race director, Miroslav Bartos.
I wonder if Daste will have any issues making his tyres last. He's always had a fairly spectacular style.
His first flying lap, 150.0 to a 151.6 of Menu, but Menu was in traffic. Big lock up there from Huff down into the final corner, Campos, corner 14. What's Daste leading by this time? It was 1.556. It is now 1.08. He's lost half a second to Menu. Menu's got to do it now or never, Harry.
Yeah, definitely, because Menu's tyres are going to be starting to drop off. Coronel said that after lap 6 that his BMW had an advantage, but obviously it's whether you can actually make anything of that advantage.
Wow, Gabriele Tarquini, far and away the best starter in World Touring Cars, gets it wrong. Well, does he get it wrong? Did the electronics cut out there? Was that a Control-Alt-Delete moment? You see them go 3 wide to get round him. And that's why, well, that was Dudicalo, of course, in front of Tarquini. I beg his pardon. That was Dudicalo stalling. Hasn't got my grid positions upside down. Wouldn't be the first and won't be the last mistake in that order, I think. Oh, was that Tarquini turned round the BMW?
Muller up the inside of Huff there, is it?
He's trying. Huff has got to get that door shut nice and subtly. And look at Nash. What did he have for lunch? He is giving, no it's not, is it? It's Oriola. He is giving the Chevys a really tough time. A pale blue bonnet on a white car.
Yeah,
yeah, very good. Oriola really pushing hard. That's 6th, 7th and 8th, the 2 Chevys. We're on board in 8th place with Pepe Oriola. 17-year-old giving veteran Ivan Muller a tough time. And look how much that's helped Huff, look.
Yeah, it's because it makes Muller have to take a slightly defensive line, which obviously compromises his exit from the corner, and then that'll in turn allow Huff to pull a little bit of an advantage back.
Well, Menu comfortably the fastest man last time round. The gap was 1.08 from Daste, the leader, to Menu in second. It is now 1.01, so he's only pulled a few hundredths in. I wonder if the plateau of performance for the Chevys has arrived already.
It could be on its way, certainly. Obviously, it's a little bit warmer now. Track temperature's a bit hotter as well, so it could well be that window will come in sooner.
Menu in clear air went 0.4 of a second slower on lap 3 than he had done on lap 2, whereas Daste went faster than he's done all race.
Yeah, it's a telling story, isn't it?
We've already found the tipping point between a BMW in clear air and a Chevy in clear air. Problems there for Charlie New. There is Darrell O'Young battling with James Nash, and this is for 11th place. James was 12th in race 1. He was desperate to try and get into the top 10 when he was in 11th place. Couldn't get by Thiago Montero to get his and Ford's, Team Aon Ford's first World Championship point, and now he's gone by O'Young. And look in the mirror on the left-hand side, I can't see Darrell. I think that was a quick overlap. Something happened to O'Young. It looks like he missed a gear or something went wrong with the car.
I wonder if Darrell's got an issue, because he just seems to have gone backwards there, doesn't he?
Daste suddenly has got Menu. That is not 1.01 seconds, is it? That looks like a smaller gap to me. Has Menu found a bit more pace? Doesn't look like it. In the second sector, he was only, well, he was 2 tenths quicker than Daste, and that closes the gap below a second. Fastest man, though, at the moment is Engstler. He's absolutely flying in 4th place behind Coronel, trying to push those 2 BMWs along to get away from this group and to catch the leaders. There is James Nash now in 11th place, and Darrell has shot out the back of the pack. Where's he gone?
Yeah, he must have had an issue at some point.
No yellow car. We're with Alex McDowell behind Alexei Dudicalo. Darrell Young, I have a feeling, will have disappeared. There is Tom Chilton behind Pasquale Di Sabatino. They're battling for 16th. Oh, and Coronel, I beg your pardon, Montero, Dudicalo, and McDowell. I tell you, Alex McDowell has done a lot of racing, hasn't he? He's really got his sleeves rolled up. Oh. Round the outside, Isaac Tutumlu.
I think, isn't that Benani?
I think that was Tutumlu. This is the battle. Benani's further up the order behind Pepe Oriola. This is Alex McDowell. There's the BMW. Tutumlu did get the move made. Here's the lead, though, and it's coming right down. Menu has found a bit more pace.
Yeah,
Daste is feeling the pressure.
He's taken 4/10. McDowell's just got back.
Yeah, and they've been caught by Di Sabatino, McDowell's teammate, and by Tom Chilton. So this is 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th. All right, this is hard to know where to look next, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a all kicking off here. I think this might be the battle we thought was going to happen in race 1, which didn't quite turn out. This could be it.
Good stuff from Alex McDowell. Now, unfortunately, he's not right at the front of the Independence Trophy, which is where he left Monza as one of 3 points leaders, but still giving a good account of himself. And behind him, Pasquale Di Sabatino, his teammate, first year ever racing anything other than a single-seater, and in the special tuning garage is Darrell Young. So Tom Boardman, the boss, is stuck in a gravel trap after a lap 1 incident. Darrell Young is in the pits before halfway through the race. That's a real disaster afternoon for them, I'm afraid.
Here we go. This is the incident. Yeah, so it looks like something's broken, doesn't it?
Well, I remember it had that engine fire in Monza after an overnight engine change, and that was the end of that.
Look how close Menu is now.
Yeah, Menu is all over him. You would think the Menu was in the BMW and Daste's tyres were going away. Now it has a problem. Has that problem with the electronic shifter in the car reappeared. Behind Nash, Montero battling with Dudicalo. Now that's a phrase you didn't expect to hear 12 months ago, do you?
No, this is it's be interesting if we get a shot of them on the straight together and we can get a bit of a comparison of look at the engine difference.
Well, that's a valid point, actually, because, of course, Montero in the Sunred, Dudicalo in the Seat. So the older Sunred engine built by Lehman in Germany. Montero finds a way through. I say finds, more sort of dug a way through. And it is, whoa, a battle for the lead, and Daste gets hit by Menu, eased offline. Well, I tell you what, if Tom Coronel got a white and black flag, Menu gives the place back.
Yeah, he'll have
in the middle of the corner. Yeah, no question there. So Menu comes steaming in from behind, little contact, Daste's in a tank slapper, and Menu then basically has to get on the brakes to allow Daste to come through on the exit of the corner. That's downhill into 8.
That was a good move, actually. It was obviously just completely unintentional, just a slight lock-up on the way in, but it was similar to what caused that incident last year.
Look at this, 6 cars on 1 piece of tarmac. Dudicalo trying to get back by Montero. And he's got McDowell, Tutumlu, Di Sabatino and Chilton all involved. Whoa, Tutumlu really flying out wide there.
Di Sabatino's having a good round. This is, you know, like you said before, he's never driven a touring car before, and it's obviously a completely different animal to what he's used to.
Wow. Daste now is under pressure, and Menu is through for the lead. Surely, yes he is. Daste can't hold the car. It looks like his tyres have gone off quicker, and behind Coronel and Engstler battling for 3rd place. Engstler's still got it. He's in front of Coronel. Coronel was 3rd at the line, Engstler up to 3rd place. So all sorts of changes going on. Mikulits is there as well. But Alain Menu, for the first time this year, leads a World Touring Car race. Well, looking here at a battle further back, this is Tom Chilton. Yes, it is, in front of Pasquale Di Sabatino. So Chilton's got by the Italian. Meanwhile, Thiago Montero still clinging on. Ooh, and battles behind. Menu's pulling away. Daste's in trouble. Here come Engstler, Coronel and Mikulits, all in BMWs. Well, Alain Menu's done a great job, hasn't he, to get in front of the car of Stefano D'Aste, who looked more wayward and more in trouble with tyres than the Chevy did.
Yeah, it's exactly like when we were talking to Michelitz and his teammate earlier on. They were saying obviously the rear tyres were going off. They're having an issue getting on the power too early, too soon. And D'Aste always has this really sort of interesting style that looks fantastic to watch. And his car's always moving around under him. So I wonder if he's cooked his tyres a little bit too soon.
Oh, who's off in the gravel? We hear gravel, and that was the cameras right there with Thiago Monteiro losing a place again to Alexei Dudicalo as they squabble over 12th place. And right behind them, down the inside of Alex McDowell, again, Isaac Tutumlu. They'll be sharing each other's paint bills, won't they, after this? They've got about as much of each other's paint on as their own.
These four are having a right old ding dong, aren't they?
Yeah, and it's all going to kick off behind Stefano D'Aste as well. Engstler under pressure from Coronel, who wants to get on the podium again. And again, behind Dudicalo, Montero, Tutumlu, McDowell, Chilton, Di Sabatino. Great battle from 12th to 17th spot. All of them easily capable of being at the front or getting shuffled out to the back. And the same is true here, the battle for second place, because Menu's gone, isn't he? Not a long way gone, but enough, because D'Aste is now hanging on, not attacking.
Yeah, Menu will just be trying to put a little bit of a breathing space so that he's got a cushion for later on when he knows he's going to be struggling in the corners.
Lap 8 of 13, 6 to go, 5 after this. Menu doing a really solid job. This was the move on D'Aste. Tapped the Italian out wide and then got on the brake. I mean, really had to slow the car down, slow that Chevy down, got out of the way. See if Menu's head looks across. Well, this is the pass for the lead. Clean into corner 2.
Yeah, it was a good move.
Yeah. He knew that he was in danger of being penalised for D'Aste getting knocked offline, gave the place back, and then half a lap later went cleanly through into the lead. D'Aste is struggling. They're all now bunching up behind him. Engstler, Coronel, Michelitz, Huff and Muller are there as well. Oriola's dropped a little further back. He's nearly 2 seconds behind Ivan Muller, so that early aggression may well have cost him in terms of tyres. Then Mehdi Banani, who overtook about half the field in race 1. He's in 9th. Gabriele Tarquini in 10th spot. Looking here again at Dudicalo, and behind James Nash. No! Nash's Ford didn't spot that, dropped out of the top 10, and he is sinking like a stone, I think, based on that. And Thiago can't hold off Tutumlu either.
That looked like something broke on James's car there.
Yeah, something was falling off it, wasn't it?
Yeah, it looked a little bit like the front wheel was a bit out of position as well. I don't know if maybe an upright broken or something, or a...
Isaac Tutumlu having a good race in his BMW. Tom Coronel, though, getting shuffled down into 4th place by Engstler, who moved up to 3rd. And Michelitz in that orange and black BMW behind the Dutchman. Here's James Nash, he's in.
One of the Fords had a bit of contact with Boardman, didn't they, at the start, so I wonder if that was possibly Nash, and maybe
I have a feeling that was James Nash. But that's a real shame. He had a really enterprising race 1, almost got into the points, and it looked like he was definitely capable of doing the same again in race 2. Oh, Michelitz very sideways in that orange and black BMW. On board with Tom Coronel and now Ivan Muller. Oh, what's up with Ivan? He's been off. Listen to the gravel rattling under the car, and he's weaving around, and somebody else is off. It's D'Aste. He's lost it. Coronel goes through. Engstler's already gone through. No, where's Engstler? Engstler's dropped down
as well.
So, oh, Menu! That's the gravel that they're all running over.
It looks like oil or something. All of them went off in the same place.
My lord, they both just pushed too hard in that uphill section into corner 12, 13. Wow, and that's Muller off. Can they really? And Banani. Well, somebody is leaking something all over the track then, surely, on board with Muller. Yikes!
And Huff as well. Was that Huff's on board camera?
That was Huff. So, Menu somehow still leads. Coronel shuffled through past D'Aste and Engstler to go 2nd. D'Aste is now 3rd, Michelitz 4th, Engstler the big loser there down to 5th. Huffy might be 6th ahead of Oriola. Muller's dropped back behind Pepe. Wow, dramatic stuff, and it's suspension problems, we understand, for James Nash in the Ford. Menu leading, but boy, there's going to be some good onboard video from his car. Leading the race, still having shot through the gravel trap inside turn 12. That was a massive off for him. Luckily, everybody else behind went off as well. So it can't just be one driver error. There must have been some liquid down there from somebody's car.
I wonder if it's still circulating, because if it is, obviously that means the excitement's not quite over yet as well.
Yeah, still spreading oil. Anybody seen a DB6 going around with 007 number plates on it? It might be him. So Menu leads, Coronel, Daste, Mikulits, Engstler, 4 BMWs behind him, Huff in 6th position, Oriola 7th, Muller's dropped to 8th. So finally his perfect race scores are going to start to take a hammering. Tarquini up to 9th ahead of Banani, who looks like he's also gone off. Fingers crossed, a degree of praying going on there on the Roal pit wall. And Muller out of touch with everybody, but he can afford to lose a few points. Doesn't want to, but he can afford to.
Ivan said he had a bit of a misfire problem, didn't he, at the end of race 1? I wonder if that's come back, because he seems to have dropped a long way back now.
Well, it didn't misfire him off into the gravel, did it?
No, that's a fair point.
So that was not necessarily all that it was about. There's the Roal pit wall, Roberto Ravaglia in the middle of your frame. Team boss, he's the row in Roal. Tom Chilton now up to 15th spot, right behind Alex McDowell, 2 former British Touring Car Championship sparring partners. Chilton's got ahead of Pasquale Di Sabatino. That's slightly had a bit of a calm down going on, isn't it? Hasn't it? And,
yeah, it was all backing up before, wasn't it? But I think it's kind of spread out a little bit more, a bit like the front end of the grid now. It's all sort of spaced itself out, and everyone looks like they're kind of settled in their positions.
Well, Tom Coronel, his 3 races so far, he got 10 points for 5th.
Dudicalo had a big old slide there.
12 for 4th, and then 15 for 3rd so far this year. And he now looks like he's going up to 18 points for 2nd. With that projection, he should win the next race in Marrakesh. Isaac Tutumlu. I tell you what,
I've
never seen a Tutumlu race before, but boy, he can race, can't he?
Yeah.
He chucks it up the inside of everybody.
Yeah, he didn't hold back there.
I tell you what though, Tom Coronel will watch this and go, hang on a minute, I tapped Gabrielli in a straight line twice and I got a black and white flag. What was that about? And he's looking at race 2 where it's all arms and elbows and there's cars battering into each other left, right and centre. None of it cynically, but he's right to say, come on, you can't give me a black and white flag for that. Coronel now.
He's back on the charge now, isn't he? He's right back within
4 tenths behind Menu. But again, he spent 13 laps trying to dislodge Tarquini in race 1. He knows this is not going to be a gimme, is it?
No, definitely not.
He's going to have to work hard. But, you know, again, with both these guys, give them half a sniff of a win, and it's going to be the devil's own job to stop them taking it. Menu, the leader, Coronel in 2nd. Daste still leading the independence class. He's in 3rd overall. Yes, Eric Nev. Not quite relaxing time yet either at RML Chevrolet or at Roal BMW.
It'll be good to see Daste on the podium, actually, if he can hold this position. He deserves it, and especially after that big old drama in the middle with the oil or whatever it was on the circuit.
Absolutely. Well, Menu may well hold on to this. 1 to go at the line. Coronel's still there and pushing. But you can see his rear tyres are starting to give away. His power slide in the car off the corner. So the Chevy's losing it at the front, as you can see from that trail braking smoke. The BMW losing grip at the back.
Yeah, you can just see the car he's not sliding it massively, but you can just see it moving around on the exit as he's getting on the power, probably when the turbo's coming in.
This is 12 up to 13. And look at that, the top 2 going off in a big way there. Coronel swept around the outside. You know, I'm not necessarily convinced it was oil. I don't know. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. We'll find out a lap from now when we hear from whoever wins round 4 of the FIA World Touring Car Championship, and it won't be Charlie New. His car grinding slowly round to the pits. Luckily, the leaders have gone by without tripping over him.
You can see the difference on that curb cam where the front wheel drives are able to get to and where the rear wheel drives are able to get to. All the BMs are well inside of the camera, and the front wheel drives are just drifting outside, just wide of the camera.
Digger, the gopher cam showing Alain Menu still as your race leader. This is where it all went wrong for Coronel and Javi Villa last year. They collided as Javi was trying to hold off Tom for the lead, and they both went off, leaving Norbert Michaelis the leader. But a last corner lunge from the Chevys saw Michaelis spinning out in the final turn, and Chevrolet taking a 1-2-3. Coronel now, contact with Menu. Menu is trying to shut the door. Coronel's got a right front tyre rub. Is it a puncture? Menu holds on. Coronel was giving everything he could. Daste trying to get around him. Has Coronel got a tyre left? If he gets off the corner, he should still take second. He's got 3 or 4 corners left to go. Menu hung on there, still smoking away under braking. Coronel still a threat, but so too is Daste and Michaelis and Engsler. They're all smelling blood in the water, and Huff is not too far behind. 6th position for him after a disappointing 4th place in race 1. Weekend to forget, I think, for Huffy. Menu stretching away. He's safe, surely. Coronel can't get close to a move from there and has to defend against Stefano Daste. Well, Menu shut the door pretty conclusively. Coronel had a bit of an overlap, but in the end it is Alain Menu who wins for Switzerland and Chevrolet. Tom Coronel takes 2nd, Stefano Daste in 3rd place, Norbert Michaelis 4th, Franz Engsler 5th, and Rob Huff in 6th spot. Pepe Oriola ahead of Ivan Muller, their 7th and 8th, and Gabriele Tarquini a long way further back, a further 8 seconds back in 9th, ahead of Bernani, Tutumlu, the 2 pro team drivers 10th and 11th, Dudicalo, Montero, McDowell and Chilton 14th and 15th, and Di Sabatino rather breathlessly at the end of that, and then Barlesi and Moshe will be our final 2. And there's Alain's race engineer, 2nd race weekend with Alain, and they have won the race here. And that's the moment where Coronel tried to get inside, lost momentum there, looked like he missed a shift after the contact.
That was some serious car control to catch that.
Contact again.
He did a mega job to get that back from there.
But the classic rule of front wheel drive, isn't it? Whatever else happens, keep your foot on the power and hope that the front wheels will drive you out of it. And they did. For his 18th career win. World Touring Car win number 18 for Alain Menu has just been chalked up. He now ties with triple champion Andy Priaulx and teammate Rob Huff. And still the winningest driver, Ivan Muller, with 23 victories. Well, the Dutch colours there for Tom Coronel. Menu is jubilant rather than cross about that, as rightly he should be. It was a damn hard race to win. He did a really good job.
I think it's just one of those racing incidents, you know. It's Alain probably didn't know he was quite there and was just trying to squeeze him out, and then obviously the first time he knew would have been when he was going sideways.
Absolutely. What Menu did, he took 5 race wins last season. It was his joint most successful season ever in World Touring Car Championship racing. And 2 weekends in, he's got his first of 2012.
We'll get to see Daste's crazy suit now as well.
Yes, the tricolor, the Italian colours on the roof. Get a load of this, baby. It's kind of a dinner jacket kind of thing. It's certainly very Italian in its colouring, if not perhaps in its couture styling. Daste don't care. He's done what he came here to do, and that's to win the Yokohama race. And look at that, again, like Coronel and like Tarquini in race 1, Coronel and Menu, bit of an embrace. They are professionals. They've been at this a very, very long time. They know what it takes to win and what is a good racing move and what is just out of order. And I don't think the Menu would say there was anything wildly out of order about Coronel's move on him. Good stuff from Stefano.
It's good to see Vika Sport back on the podium as well.
Yep, absolutely right. Absolutely right. Former Yokohama Trophy champions. And Stefano did a couple of races for them last year, didn't he? Jumped in at very short notice. And Ben's with him. So let's have a quick word with Stefano. Sartorially elegant.
Perfect score. Once again, perfect score for Chevrolet and Alain Menu this time. Victor, that was not easy, was it?
No, it was not. You know, all credit to Chevrolet. They gave me a great car. But yes, I took my time with Stefano. Then I thought I had an opportunity to overtake, but I felt he closed the door a bit too late. But I didn't think it would have been fair to overtake him, so I backed right off, which meant that Tom Cornell caught up with us. And then at the end, I was the first one to hit the oil. And Jesus, I thought it was the end of it. I was in the gravel. And then I backed off too much the last 2 or 3 laps. So I left myself open to Tom. And that was Jesus. That was close at the end, that last lap. But I wanted to win, so I was not going to back off.
Congratulations. And Victor in the independents and 3rd overall. Stefano D'Aste, you look extremely happy about that.
Yeah, I'm really very happy. I had a very good first laps. It was our weak point because we started with a strategy of a tire to have a good tire for the middle of the race. And when I saw Alain in the back of me, and when he touched me, I thought, okay, he didn't do to catch me out, but I saw him that he arrived a little long. And when I saw him go out in the fast corner, I thought, okay, I have the chance to overtake him again. But I went out in the same time because I think that there was oil. We got a very big risk. We could ruin all the race there. Many cars overtook us, but we were able to get back. And it was a great, very great race. I have to thank you very much to my engineer, Marco Calovolo, that from home he gave me the best car with the help of Roger.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice work, Marco, who is not here this weekend, but on the end of a telephone. And this is the moment when Alain Menu got into Stefano D'Aste, who's trying to close the door. Menu again. This is really professional, Harry. He knows there's a potential he could end up with a penalty for that. Gives the place back.
Yeah, he knew he had the faster car at that point in the race and thought, what's the point in losing it all over this when I can, let him back past and pass him again in a lap or so.
And indeed he did. Turn 2 next lap took the lead for all and for good, and it is race win number 1 for anybody not called Ivan this season. Alain Menu claims victory, but 4 straight wins for Chevrolet leaves them very comfortably on top of the manufacturer's standings. Coronel 3rd in race 1, 2nd in race 2. He has come 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd so far this season. He's absolutely loving it. McDowell and Chilton, the 2 Brits who finished the race further back. Rob Huff was in 6th, McDowell and Chilton 14th and 15th in the Chevy and in the Ford. And up the staircase of talent. It's not just Jackie Stewart that has one of those, It's a tough job, Alain. He gives good interview, doesn't he, Alain Menu? All those years racing in the UK, you can tell he's spent a lot of time with British mechanics.
Yeah, definitely.
And he moves up to 2nd in the standings, ahead of teammate Rob Huff, who slumps to 4th behind Tom Coronel. Muller still leads. Gap comes down a little, though. It's just over 1 race win. Huffy down to 4th. That may be the lowest he's been in the championship the last 2 or 3 seasons. Tarquini in 5th spot. Both of them will have had high hopes after qualifying. Not as high, perhaps, as Ivan Muller. Muller leads now as we head away from Europe and to North Africa next time out on the streets of Marrakesh, Morocco. But we will remember races 3 and 4 of the World Touring Car Championship here in Valencia for a win for Ivan Muller, his 3rd on the trot, only the 2nd time that's been done in World Touring Car history, and Ivan has done it both times, but the spell was broken. Menu stopped him getting a historic 4 in a row as he ended up with victory. Very exciting action at the beginning of race 1 and of race 2. And race 2 was a real cracker. Lots going on everywhere you looked. Swiss flag held high down in the crowd. Stefano D'Aste, or Yokohama Trophy winner, 3rd overall. Tom Coronel 2nd. And the Swiss anthem will ring out for our race winner, Alain Menu. And he takes his 1st win of the season. Joined by engineering director Armel Chevrolet Ron Hartfeld.
Escuchamos en honor del vencedor el himno de Suiza.
And the anthem of our winning constructor, Chevrolet. Single-seaters, touring car racing, sports cars, GTs and touring cars. Again, Alain Menu has been on a lot of different podiums, and I don't think that the delight of winning a race ever fades. Stefano D'Aste, what a happy man he is, takes a third overall for Vika Sport and wins the Yokohama Independence Trophy as well. Tom Coronel's upward curve continues. He takes second place after third in race one. Big weekend for Tom and Roal Motorsport. And a race win for Alain Menu, his 18th World Touring Car Championship victory. Ron Hartfeld, the engineering director at RML Chevrolet. There's Ivan Muller and his girlfriend down there applauding. Ron takes the trophy for the winning constructor. He's the man responsible for running this program from the engineering and sporting side. And Stefano D'Aste, double bubble, gets the Yokohama trophy as well as third place overall. So I guess that's one for the team, one for his.
He's going to need a hand getting all that off that podium. I could take the champagne for him if
Very handy. Quick photo call. And if you are on Twitter, find Tom Coronel. He is already running a tweet competition for his podium hat from race one, and I'm sure there'll be a competition as well for his podium hat from race two. Most of these guys are on Twitter, as is the championship, as are H&I. I don't think Ron is. I think he's got more important things to do with his time than tweet left, right and centre. Top of the list of which will be finding some dry clothes. Always a rookie error not to get off the podium.
Yeah, time to run, I think. I think he was trying and he was stopped.
He got snagged. He got snagged. Stefano checking the style, and Tom helping Alain with a champagne shower. You know, some of the most experienced drivers in the championship on that podium, particularly with Menu and Coronel. Between them, I think they've only missed half a dozen of the near 200 World Touring Car races we've now had. Both of them in their prime of their career, but certainly not young lads. And both of them still, you know, the same question I've asked them, you know, when are you going to give this up? When are you going to stop? When's too old? Said, the day I don't love doing it is the day I retire, then and there. And at the moment, clearly, they have got life in the old legs yet. Muller, the championship leader. Menu and Coronel now move up to second and third. Rob Huff in fourth, just a point behind Tom. Gabriele Tarquini in fifth position. Not a great weekend for him. D'Aste, top independent, sixth overall in the championship as well, ahead of Norbert Michelis. So the Indies are well up there as well. Engsler in the top 10. Rydell, unless we see him again, will be history by the end of the season. Those points will not hang on for long. And now some slightly soggy drivers will head off into our little interview room, where hopefully Ben Constantius will be waiting for them so we can have a little listen. Well, Menu certainly very quick indeed around the twisty bits. Now that surely is the bit that a heavily laden Chevrolet should be worst at.
Yeah, you'd think so, but obviously it's not today. But bearing in mind he was out there at the start on his own as well, that's always going to help. He hasn't got to defend too hard, and he did get away quite well from the line. So,
well, let's hear now from our race winner.
An extremely dramatic race from outside, but tell us what it was like in the cockpit.
Yeah, it was probably more dramatic inside than it was outside. You know, the start was not great, but obviously we knew it was going to be like this. Then I was careful the first few laps not to hurt my tires. Stefano was driving very well. Then I thought I could have a go at him, but okay, we touched, so I didn't think it would have been fair to overtake, so I backed right off to let him go through again. And then when I took the lead, then I hit the oil. I was the first one to hit the oil with 3 laps to go, I think it was. And Jesus, I thought everything was lost there. And I looked in the mirror and everybody was doing the same. But then I was too cautious, I thought, the last 3 laps, and that allowed Tom to be right on my tail on the last lap. And as you saw, it was very, very close. But I wanted to win that one, so I went for it. But that was close.
Just how important is this win personally for you? And now you're in second in the championship.
I didn't know. Obviously, it is very important, yes, because it's my goal, to win a championship. And Ivan started really well, and Ivan is probably the strongest driver out there, so it's going to be hard to beat. But I'll do my best. So it's a good weekend, because yesterday I did not do very well in qualifying, so I was lucky.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, lucky, good. You read it the way you like. 5th place in race 1, win in race 2. Good weekend for him. Good weekend for Tom Coronel as well. A 3rd and a 2nd spot.
Tom, was that a fair battle with Alain at the end there?
Yeah, I think so. I was closely inside and he was closing the gap, and I thought, the green part, you don't have the grip what is on the black part. So I backed off, and then we touched very, very soft, and I saw him drifting everywhere. I like drifting, but not somebody in front of me. But at least he held the car. I directly backed off, and I said, okay, that's it. It's too high risk level, and of course, touring car racing is rubbing a little bit, as we know. I had a good fight with him. I think, we had fun, and that's important.
But Tom, you're the winningest driver, most successful driver of the weekend, so that must be very good for you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm lucky with that. I didn't know. We did, I think, clever. I just stayed behind. Once I saw Engsler was a little faster, I just thought, okay, you go and see what you can do. And then they all went off in the oil. And this is good when they are in front. So, okay, I go 1 gear down and probably I will survive. And I just survived, overtook Dusty on the outside. And then even when I was behind Manu, he took a lot of risk that lap because I didn't know where the oil was. And at the end, he was a little bit too cautious why I could catch him.
Thanks, Tom.
But very happy. Thank you.
I love to hear how they read the races. Great reaction there from Coronel. Oh, they're all going off. I'll just be a little bit careful. Well, they were happy, but I think the happiest man on the podium comes up next, Stefano D'Aste.
A tough but a successful race for you, Stefano.
Yeah, it was a very great race. We did a very good job with the car. The setup of my car was great. I got the first laps very quick, and when I saw Alain in the back of me, I thought, oh, now he will try to overtake me. Then he touched me, but because he ride a little long in that corner, and the front wheel in that corner are very, very difficult. And but I'm very, very happy because for us it was very important. I arrived in the 3rd position absolute and the 1st of the independent. I was thinking to 1st of the independent, and when I saw Tom after the oil, I got the oil and I went out, and there was no chance to overtake back Tom. So I'm very, very happy. My team did a very, very great job.
So no sense of a missed opportunity with the overall win?
No, I could have, but I had to take too much risk to stay in the front because Alain was very, very quick, and his car in the end was constant. I thought that he lost more in the performance. Instead, he was continued pushing very hard. And when I saw Tom that crashed against him, I thought, oh, I can do second, but I would have to get too much risk, so I thought it's better stay in 3rd and get the 1st of the independent.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
They told me at lunchtime that their strategy was to get the tyres really strong at the end of the race. He said, first 4 or 5 laps, I'm going to struggle because we know we're giving away performance early on, and that's how it proved. That's why Menu was all over him. And eventually, in the end, why Menu passed. But he said, if they come and I'm still leading the independents, I may have to let them go. It's exactly what he did. But 3rd overall, great result for Stefano D'Aste. So good weekend for him, good weekend for Tom Coronel, good weekend for Alain Menu as well. Chevrolet leads. They have won all 4 races so far this season. BMW and Seat, well, that's 2nd spot for BMW with Coronel, and 3rd for D'Aste. Jumps them up. The top Seat was Pepe Oriola in 7th position. And that, as they say, is that. We say adios to Valencia in Spain, and we head next time out to Marrakesh in Morocco, the first street circuit of the season, and a very different and very difficult challenge. My thanks to Harry Volkard for all his words of wisdom this weekend. My thanks too to Ben Constanduras, to our producer and director Alessandro Dragozze, and the rest of the crew who have been around the track here in Valencia producing some spectacular images of all our action. We'll see you next time out from Marrakesh in Morocco. Till then, I'm Martin Haven saying goodbye. Thank you for joining us.